Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie. There are some new people here, which is really cool. So thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you to everyone who watched my tapif video. That's been my most viewed video, so that was really cool. If you ever have any other questions about specifically the tapif program, just feel free to reach out to me. I will put my Instagram somewhere, link it down below, so if you want, you can send me a DM, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. Yeah, so I am in my home, obviously in Paris still. I know there's a lot of stuff behind me, but I don't really care. So I just wanted to film this because I haven't posted anything in a while, and I just wanted to kind of just talk about what I've been doing and just give a little update about how I'm doing and just everything that's kind of been going on. I don't know why I already feel weirdly emotional, like I'm gonna cry. But okay, and I feel like it's really important to talk about things. I don't know, I just think it's important to kind of give people a clear view of what's going on and everything. So just to start off, a little bit about me is I am 25. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which obviously if you've been following everything that's been going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, you probably know about the Tulsa massacre, which is also so interesting because I grew up learning it as the Tulsa race riot, which is so false. And I'm trying to be organized with my thoughts, but I feel like I'm gonna go a lot of different ways. But yeah, so I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I study journalism. I now am an English teacher in France, and I live with my boyfriend Khalil, who is from Marrakesh, Morocco. So just to talk about how's it going, how am I doing? I'm gonna be honest, it's been a really, really hard time. So basically, not long ago, I found out some really bad news from home, and I just feel like anytime that something like that happens, you really start to question, what you're doing here, why am I living so far from my friends and family, and just things like that. I didn't expect to cry during this, but anyways, I just got some bad news from home, and it's been really hard to deal with that and to try to navigate those feelings, because unfortunately it's of course everyone here can empathize with me, and I've been getting a lot of support from my friends here, but it's also I think when you get bad news, all you want to do is be with your friends and family and talk about that and just hug people and be there for people. I think there's I feel a lot of guilt associated with that, and so I wasn't gonna start out with this, but I just feel like I need to get it off my chest because I don't want to cry in the middle of the video. So it's been kind of hard, just mentally struggling with that, and I just feel like the reason why I wanted to say this is because I'm just kind of sick of falsities on the internet. I saw a video recently where someone posted something, and I was like, this just is such a misrepresentation of who you are. I just think there's so much misrepresentation, which I know is part of it. It's people want to see something that's interesting and flashy, but it's I don't want to see that. It's, I think what's so cool about YouTube and why I started making videos, because it was fun for me to make videos. If you scroll down videos of my friends for fun memories, and I don't know if this is making sense, but basically I just wanted to share that living far away from home can be really hard sometimes, and I've never had something like this happen to me before where I just wanted to go home so badly, which kind of brings me to my next point, which is I'm supposed to go home this summer, and obviously when I booked these tickets home, I was oh, of course the US will get its shit together. with COVID by the time I go home. I booked this flight like 5 months ago. Nope, not so much. And so I just want to say, if you're in the US and you are, I mean, just like wear a mask, please. Like, try to social distance. I mean, like, but the thing is also, like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. Like, when I go, the reason why I'm going home to the United States is because my family were supposed to go on a vacation in North Carolina. And so it's like, I just want to be, like, upfront about that also. Someone's texting me. So I just want to be upfront about that also, is like I don't know, like, I feel like a certain amount of, like, guilt or something, where I feel like, oh, I don't, like, maybe we shouldn't go, but everyone's already going and we have these houses booked. But at least I feel like hopefully we'll be able to just, like, stay in the house, and we'll be able to just, like, stay in the house and, like, social distance from other people. But, yeah, so I'm supposed to go home this summer to go to North Carolina, and basically it's just, like, been, like, a huge, like, shit show with trying to sort out my visa, because the France isn't, issuing work visas to United States citizens anymore. And I could renew my visa here in France, but, like, long story short, like, I don't think it's that interesting to, like, explain everything, but basically there's just a lot of moving parts, moving pieces, and it is, like, a little bit stressful because I do want to be here and I do want to come back. My, like, boyfriend lives here. Like, basically one of the big reasons why I'm here. I want to be with him. I'm already leaving him for, like, a month because I thought he would be able to go to Morocco while I was in the United States. Whole other issue. But anyways, so there's just a lot of things happening with my visa, which is stressful. That's another reality of living in another country, is you always kind of have to be sorting out, like, your administrative things. So that's kind of difficult. So that's just another annoyance, but whatever. And that's, like, whenever people say, like, well, if you don't like it here, you can go to another country. Well, I'm like, well, it's not that simple. So let's relax on that. Okay, so obviously I just feel like I could not make any sort of video. And that's kind of why I wanted to, I don't know if this, like, looks bad, if this angle looks bad. So another reason why I wanted to make this video, obviously, is I just can't imagine putting out any content right now without, like, addressing my support for the Black Lives Matter movement, and, just talking about it a little bit. So yeah, so there's been so much going on in the United States, and I fully support the Black Lives Matter movement. I think that there is so much inequality in the United States that needs to be addressed from the bottom up. I mean, just, like, starting with education. Like I said, I'm from Oklahoma. The education is, like, it's one of the worst states in the country for education, and I just think that education is the way forward in so many ways, which kind of brings me to myself and, like, what I've been doing. And I think, like, a lot of white people, I've just been really, like, humbling myself and just kind of realizing that, like, wow, I have not been doing shit for Black or people of color, for Indigenous people, and I feel like, especially being from Tulsa, where that has been a site of so much injustice against Black people and against Native Americans. If you've never read Killers of the Flower Moon, go ahead and read it. I mean, there's so many resources to learn about Native American history, but that's a huge one. And so, and of course, like I was talking about earlier, the Tulsa massacre that happened in the 1920s, or 1921, I believe, where, I mean, so many people were killed. I don't even think they have they don't even have an accurate number of how many Black people were killed. So that's I mean, I don't usually like to cuss, but that is fucking horrible. So anyways, so like I said, I've just been, like, really humbling myself and just realizing that, like, I need to educate myself. I need to do better in every single arena. I've been reading some books. I think a lot of people are starting with me and white supremacy, which I think is great, and that's what I started with. I had a really great conversation with my friend Kira. I think if you're gonna read that book, you need to have a discussion with someone about the journal prompts, because it's just a great way to have accountability. And I think we need to vocalize the ways that we have failed. And it's really hard, like, it's really shameful. Like, the things that Kira and I were talking about were really shameful. Like, it's embarrassing and it's horrible, but like, how can we move forward if we don't address these things? So that's been one of the main ways that I've been just like educating myself. So I started with Me and White Supremacy. What else have I been reading? So I also read, okay, so this is something that I would be interested in getting some opinions on. So I read The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead, who is a Black author, so I'm happy to be supporting his work and his books, and it is a book that I've always wanted to read. But I am curious kind of what people think as far as anti-racism work. So it's a book about the Underground Railroad, but more like he portrays the Underground Railroad as like a physical railroad, which I think is an interesting choice. And it's in the time of slavery, which when I was reading this book, I was like, it's well written, it's a great book. I mean, like, it's so harrowing what happens, and it's horrible, but I just wonder, like, I mean, it's great, I think, to be supporting Black authors, but if that's where I should be doing my anti-racism work, because I feel like, or my anti-racism, like, education, because I feel like slavery is something that we all have a handle on. Like, we all know slavery is horrible. We all know the disgusting things that happened. I mean, like, the most, like, inhumane, I mean, I don't need to explain it. So I'm just curious, like, if people, like, kind of what people's stance is about reading the Underground Railroad as a work for anti-racism, when I feel like there's a lot more things, like, in the 20th and 21st century that we need to be unpacking, and that I need to be unpacking, and I need to be relearning. So yeah, so that's just something that I would be curious on getting people's feedback about. So if you have any comments or any suggestions for any other books, that'd be great. I really am just, like I said, just trying to humble myself and realize that I don't know shit, and I really need to do better. I'm gonna maybe make a full video about this, but another book I'm reading is Girl, Woman, Other. Girl, Woman, Other, like, I know this is such a cliche thing that people are saying nowadays, but, like, it should be required reading. It's like every chapter is about a different woman in, I want to say Great Britain, in England, and different Black women, and it just, like, this book, it talks about, like, every experience that, like, a woman can have. Like, every single chapter, it talks about, like, I mean, it just talks about everything, in a way that's so real, and the mentality and the way that women are thinking about these things is so real. It made me emotional, like, just, like, the things just the things that happen, and, I just think that it really captures, like, how women think, and I feel like this is especially important to read because it's about Black women, who have been, I mean, Malcolm X had that famous quote that I was like, I don't want to misquote him, but basically saying that Black women are the most, like, mistreated people in America, but I also feel like you can apply that same thinking to Black women everywhere in the world. So yeah, so I've been reading that, and I'm like 90% of the way done, and I'm obsessed with it. A couple other books that I picked up that I'm really excited about. So typically I read books on my Kindle, which I know, like, Amazon, I've literally had it since I was, like, 16, and so I've just been, like, buying books on it. And so if you also, like, feel a certain type of way about that or want to give me feedback about that, please don't hesitate. But I decided that, and I talked to Kira about this as well, like, I would go pick up a few books in person, from Shakespeare & Co. I do really want to be supporting Black-owned businesses as well, bookstores. There is one in Tulsa called Fulton Street Books, I believe, that I can't wait to go check out when I'm home this summer. I'm definitely going to pick up some books there, but something that I'm really excited about or something that I've really been thinking about is, for buying physical books, I feel like especially in this time, it's great for sharing books, like, because once I'm done with these, I can give them to other people to read, which is, I think, great, and it's great for having discussions with people and opening all the doors. And so what I picked up was, this is Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. So this is about this says, the evening of 16-year-old Melody's coming of age, and it says, unfurling the history of Melody's family from the 1921 Tulsa massacre to post-9/11 New York. Red at the Bone explores sexual desire, identity, class, and the life-altering facts of parenthood. I just think, I was just really excited to see this. I've just heard good things about it, so I decided to pick it up. This one I've heard is incredible, The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. So excited to read it. It's also just been picked up by HBO to be a limited series. And then finally, I also got Trick Mirror by Gia Tolentino. She's a writer for The New Yorker. She is not Black, but she is a person of color. She's incredibly smart. I've already started this. But so this is something that I kind of wanted to talk about really briefly. I'm going to try to wrap it up. But this book just really made me feel like, what is the point of anything? Like, even like the first chapter, it's just talking about like social media and the internet, and about how basically like us posting things on the internet, we're kind of becoming a part of this performance. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then we have to upkeep that performance. We have to keep going with it. There's no reprieve from our personality on social media. And just things like that. And so, I don't know, this book has just made me question a lot of things about like the internet. So I'm really thinking about deleting my social media for the summer. I feel like a lot of people might say it's kind of a bad time to be deleting social media, but there are a lot of anti-racism resources like books. I want to take one of Monique Melton's anti-racism courses online. Just like a lot of things that I feel like I can be doing to further my education, further the cause, support Black Lives Matter without just paying lip service on social media. I feel like also when I got the bad news from home, which I don't really want to like go into more specifics about, just like out of respect, but and also I feel like the person like wouldn't want me to talk about it. But yeah, it's just out of respect. Before I got that news, I was just posting so much on social media and things like, I was just posting a lot on social media, and I feel like it got to the point where I was being a little like thoughtless, a little careless. Like, yes, I was like reposting things about Black Lives Matter, reposting things like this and that, but like, was I being thoughtful? Was I really thinking about that person's words? Was I supporting them? Was that colorful graphic, was it made by a Black person? Or am I just reposting graphics made by white people? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I just kind of took a step back from social media for a second to just really kind of try to figure out how to not just talk about it, to like be about it. Because I think I was definitely guilty of one of those people being like, oh, well, I have liberal social values. Like, I am a liberal person. Like, so I'm off the hook. So I don't need to keep educating myself. I don't need to understand this. I don't need to understand that. Which I think is the problem. That's what's happened, is people are like, oh, well, it's not me. It's not me, so I don't need to do the work. And I'm saying that, like, I'm not having any anger attitude toward you. I'm having that anger toward myself. Because all that we can do is educate ourselves and try to make ourselves better. And I think that we all need to have a little bit of grace with each other right now and just educate each other, have these conversations. And it's not Black people's responsibility to educate each other. Black people can use whatever tone, whatever feelings they have, that is like theirs. I think it's our responsibility as white people to have those conversations like this. To sit down and say, well, why do you feel that way? Let's have a discussion about it. It should be our burden And I could count so many ways that I have failed in that regard. Even like in my relationship, like when people would ask like questions about Khalil being Muslim and I was like uncomfortable because I didn't want to make them uncomfortable. So I didn't want to like get into it with them. So people like, so I would just be like, oh, you know, like whatever. But that would have been an amazing opportunity to educate some people, because ignorance comes from just like a lack of education. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of rambling now. But there are so many things that I've just been like really like learning. Like I said a million times, just trying to like humble myself to this information and just like support. I've just been like really trying to support Black creators and Black authors, not just because they're Black, but because they're like making good shit. Like Amanda Seales, who's kind of like an activist, she's an author, a stand-up comedian, an actress. She had this quote one time. She was like, good shit is good shit. It wasn't about this, but I just thought her words were like funny. But she's a great follow on Instagram. But she was like, good shit is good shit. And like, we should all be searching, especially now, like to support these Black creators and authors and influencers and all that shit. Like, support them because like they deserve it. Like, they've done this amazing work. Does that make sense? I don't know. But there's a lot of other things I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to make this too lengthy. And I will link everything that I've been like podcasts, books, Instagrams, like everything that I've kind of been like reading, watching, listening to. I will link it down below. Comment down below if you think that I've missed the mark on something. I would love to know that. If you think that I misspoke on anything, if you feel like I'm not understanding something, please comment down below and let me know. If you have any book recommendations, Instagrams, like anything that I can do, please let me know. Thank you guys all for... I feel like I'm also just been talking like really, really fast. I've been drinking a lot of coffee today. But there's a lot of things that I'm excited for coming up in the future. Sorry this was like a weirdly emotional video, but I've just been obviously feeling a lot of emotions, feeling a lot of ways. So thank you guys so much for watching. There will be more, hopefully more positive content to also, I'm going on a couple trips in France before I leave, so hopefully you guys can see that, and I will try to present them, just like, I don't know, I just want the direction of my channel going forward to be, like, reality. I don't want to put on any airs because I'm sick of that shit. I'm just tired of that stuff, you know? So anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you everyone who has subscribed so far, and please comment, like I said, anything that you want to add or whatever. But thank you so much. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you're taking care of yourselves mentally, hugging and, you know, just like telling people you love them. So, why am I crying again? But thank you so much and have a good day. Bye!